Hey everyone, today is Star Wars Day, May the 4th, and while Disney may want you to be binge watching all the Star Wars movies on Disney Plus during these quarantine times, I am here to give you another possible fun thing to do to satiate that Star Wars boner. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a swear word in some areas of the internet. Back when this game was first revealed, I can be quoted as saying, "The new Battlefront has a lot to live up to. And the gameplay looks really promising. If it ends up being good, I'm down to relive my old memories playing Star Wars games." And well, it didn't. Battlefront 2, in my opinion, is single-handedly responsible for establishing the conversation of whether or not loot boxes should be considered gambling. So much so that when I wrote a research paper on this topic, there were several academic articles about it. Other games had had loot boxes before this one, but none quite had them to this degree or were so hyped and in the public eye. Battlefront 2 roped in gamers after they promised free DLC after Battlefront 1 had a $50 season pass for 4 maps, and then destroyed its game with tons and tons and tons of loot boxes that were linked to direct character progression, which boiled down to if someone bought more loot boxes than you, they were just going to be stronger in every way. I'm sure you've heard this story just about a million times. It's a cautionary tale passed down through the internet, and people are still making pride and accomplishment memes to this day. So you're probably thinking to yourself, what does the title of the video mean, if the game was so bad? Well, to get to there, it's gonna require a little bit of a story first. When I was at the age of 4, all I had for gaming was a GameCube and an original Xbox. While everyone in the family gamed to some extent, I was known as the gamer around the house. So when the next generation of consoles started to come out, it basically came down to me choosing whether or not the family was going to get an Xbox 360 or a Wii. And I was very, very vocal about getting that Wii for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. What I didn't realize is that this was going to affect my gaming life for years. To make a long story short, while my sister, my father, and I were all very avid gamers, that was around the time of the whole recession business in 2007, this hit my family kind of hard. Which means regardless of what I wanted, I didn't really get my hands on another home console after the Wii until late 2013, when, you guessed it, another Smash game had come out. I did end up getting both a DSi and a 3DS, but even for the stuff I did have, it was rare that I ended up being able to buy new games for them. So, to illustrate my point, let's say from 2007 to 2013, I only really had a few consoles and maybe a total of 50 games for them all. And let's say around half of those were shovelware or one-time playthrough kind of games. This situation led me to playing some games a lot more than I probably should have, and it was where I discovered some lifetime favorites. Games like Halo 2, Battle for Bikini Bottom, the Naruto Clash of Ninja series, Mario Party 8, the LEGO games, and the aforementioned Super Smash Bros. Brawl kept me playing in this time. Anytime I wanted to game, I had to find a game with a lot of free play value or a lot of things to do. And one game that my sister and I could not get enough of was a game that checks that replay value box. Star Wars Battlefront 2. We would have these days where we would just play through every map in instant action. Like wake up, start the playlist, play every map, eat, do it again, sleep kind of days. We would constantly play that Mos Eisley mode where everyone was heroes and would roleplay reasons why all the characters were in the same place at the same time. We would play on Hoth multiple times in a row and alternate between who got to play as the rebels so they could play as Luke and cut down the AT-ATs. I don't remember a time in my life before we owned Battlefront 2. So fast forward to 2015 and EA's Battlefront 1 releases. I look at the price tag for the game and season pass and instantly say, fuck that. Then from the sideline, watch all the DLC reveals. They all look so cool, but so lame at the same time. Who the fuck wants Nyen Nub? And then Battlefront 2 and that whole situation happens. And I basically swore off any form of EA's Battlefront. For me, it simply wasn't worth it. I didn't think there was any way they could possibly save the situation. Until I saw this trailer.
A ferocious fight between good and evil. In the thick of the Clone Wars, the forces of the Galactic Republic and the Separatists clash in a high-stakes tug-of-war. Led by their vicious superiors, the droid army launches an invasion on the Republic attack cruiser. Elite infiltrators go head-to-head in a deadly battle aboard the capital ship as the Separatists target its weak points.
As is the case with many people my age, while quote-unquote true Star Wars fans saw this as the true Star Wars, when I thought of Star Wars, I thought of these. Growing up with these movies, it really didn't matter that they were supposedly bad. They did what they had to do. They made me like them, and Star Wars as a whole. This is what put Battlefront 2 EA Edition back on my radar. Lo and behold, turns out they made DLC for every movie that has come out since then. Solo, The Last Jedi. I'll just say it now. Star Wars is one of the most contested movie franchises ever, and every Star Wars fan says something about how most of the movies aren't really any good, but I firmly believe that every one of these movies has something going on for it and deserve to be part of one saga. Okay? Everyone got that? Everyone understand? Alright, let's move on. Now that Battlefront 2 was on my radar, fast forward to like 5 days ago, when I see that the most recent and final update for the game was adding many fan-requested things. And I thought to myself, that is a dev team that knows it made a mistake, but is here for making things right again. And then I saw that both the Humble Store and Origin had it on sale. At the time of writing, I'm pretty sure they're still on sale, but since it's a Star Wars Day sale, and today, the day this is uploaded, is Star Wars Day, if you have any interest, you should do what I do and probably cop that on a whim. So I've had the game for a few days, and you think after a few years of playing Battlefront 2 that it would be awfully presumptuous to assume they're on the same tier. Well, you're right. But I'm not doing that. I'm willing to wager that the current state of EA's Battlefront 2 is better than the original. For me, Battlefront 2 wasn't ever really about the depth of combat and the strategy, but rather, I can go in, shoot a bunch of dudes, have fun, and then do it again. And EA's version has delivered a slightly more complex twist on that formula, but maintains the fun. Battlefront 2 OG was basically just run around, take objectives, and shoot dudes. You eventually get new dudes to shoot people with if you run and shoot good enough, and if you run and shoot really good, you unlock the ability to play as a hero. You know, the kind of hero I'm talking about. Jedi, Sith, Boba Fett, the whole 9 yards. This game also gave me an attachment to the random Jedi you really never had any reason to care about in the movies. Guys like Kit Fisto, Ayla Secura, Kai Adi-Mundi. They barely did anything in the movies, but here they are kicking ass, being cool, all that jazz. EA's Battlefront 2 does the same thing, but in my opinion, even better. Rather than having it just be getting points for shooting guys and you become a hero, you now get points for doing all kinds of actions. Healing people, playing objectives, and of course, well, shooting people. And you also have many more things to become with these points. Obviously, not everyone in the game can become the super big badass character to dominate the field. So you can become a number of different niche classes or pilot a number of vehicles. And often as these niche classes, you can earn enough points to justify your existence and come back again as that class. Furthermore, every class, including heroes, now has an individual level. The more you play as these guys, the higher they level up. And with the leveling system, you can actually customize every character, not just with outfits, but with abilities. Whether it be buffing your old stuff or getting your character some new stuff, every character has a certain amount of star cards you can unlock and upgrade as you level up. Meaning that while I like to play my officer as more of a support role with a strong turret and buffed up healing abilities, you might want to run as more of an attacker with a better blaster. Every ship, hero, and class in this game has a customization level like this, and while some probably go deeper than others, it's an amazing feedback loop and makes Battlefront 2 one of the most fun casual shooters I have ever played. Every match, even if you suck and die all the time, makes you feel like you're achieving something. Another strong point for Battlefront 2 is that its objectives and maps have been completely reworked. In 2005's Battlefront, the name of the game would have been capturing command posts on several different maps, rinse and repeat. But in EA's Battlefront 2, every map has a different attack/defense structure with different means of how the game will progress for both the good guys and the bad guys, which means that it's much harder to get burnt out while playing. And depending on the map, it usually falls into this team gets to this point, shoots a bunch of dudes, takes over these things, then pushes the enemy back to a different portion of the map, rinse and repeat. But the small variances in this formula do wonders for keeping the game fresh for every match I play. Battlefront 2 is the prime example nowadays for a we fucked up game. But unlike a lot of games regarded as failures by developers, the dev team stuck it out and continued to patch and make a game that was not only a hell of a lot of fun, but a celebration of all things Star Wars. While it may not be a masterclass of storytelling or a deep and complex competitive game, for the price of $20 that I got it at, it is totally worth every penny. Hell, the game nowadays retails for $40 with most of the cosmetic DLC, so if this hadn't been on sale at the time I bought it, I probably still would have taken it at $40 and likely enjoyed every second. It makes you feel like you're part of the world of Star Wars with its amazing immersion and recreation of iconic areas. So I promise, it's good. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, all that jazz. If you want to talk to me and tell me why my opinion is bad, make sure to fire off in the comments. And I've been RV Rocks. Thank you so much for watching. And whatever you end up doing today, whether it be watching the movies, playing some games, or arguing with another fan on Reddit, may the Force be with you. See ya.